Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I think a recent change in my medications is kicking my ass. But I can also now hear that there is a thunderstorm going on out there, so I kind of want to just enjoy that. And we will be doing so to the tune of a new well, I guess new video seems obvious, but let's just get this out of the way. We are still doing the Arcana Spotlight Series on dash attacks. And today we are going to be looking at the last Earth Elemental one. I saved this one for last, not because it's my favorite, but mostly because I'm not sure how exactly I feel about this one. And you can see what it's doing. It's snaring enemies and dragging them into me. It seems like it has quite a range, too. Now, I don't entirely know how exactly this one is going to work out. So, that's why I saved it for last, because it's the one that seems to have the most interesting but simultaneously questionable use. Now, if I were to say how best to use it, I would say it would best be used with something that hits all around you. So I am going to try that. We're going to try using Terra Ring as the signature. Obviously, we've got it's Entangling Vines. I just wanted to make sure of the name before I said something that made an ass out of myself. So the combo is going to be Entangling Vines into Terra Ring. Then as far as the basic is concerned, it'd be best to use something that kind of has a wide strike range. So I'm thinking Flame Strike, but I'm gonna end up... Actually, let me try it with Flame Strike. I use Air Spinner all the time. Let me try something a little different. So, boom, then I can turn around and be like, no, you get out of my face. Then, what do I do for my standard? The thunderstorm has spoken, but it also isn't sure, so it doesn't help much. So a couple of other things that I think would be useful would be like Cardus Prime. I think would be really good. So you activate it, then somehow that made things work worse. Activate. Okay, yeah, actually that doesn't work out nearly as well as I would have thought, so never mind. But as you can see, that would work just fine as well. So it should be something that I can rely on, but something that I don't necessarily want to... I don't want to use right away, like before I throw it out. Or before I use Entangling Vines. So there's a lot of good options for like close to mid-range, just for a good close to mid-range tool that I can use with this. Though I think Dynamic Disarray seems like it would be the best option, mostly just because of how much it bounces around. But admittedly, I'm also thinking Lightning just because of the storm that's going on outside. I'm just looking over all my options. I know this is kind of the most boring part of the video, so I'm not going to make you guys wait too long to actually see how this build works. I'm just working on putting things together right now. That seems like it would work. As far as the robe choice, I'm going with Shift just because it's got a built-in evade chance. There is no other robe aside from Patience that has a built-in evade chance, at least not anymore. It used to be that Pace had a built-in evade chance. That has since been changed in order to A, give it more of an identity, but B, also give Shift more of an identity. So we're gonna try that. Do I stick with Jade's Jeweled Tiara? Personally, I think yes. Just to make sure that what we have going on for an otherwise power build is kept powerful. And just like that, we've got ourselves a build, and you guys got to hear the entire thought process of what was going through my head as I was building it. Now it's just a matter of getting ourselves the retro floor plan and seeing how well Entangling Vines actually works with this thought process. Now, I'm not necessarily telling you what I think of Entangling Vines right off the bat because, like I said, I don't use it much, so I'm not really 100% sure how I feel about the whole process. Alright. I think we're just gonna go and see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna have a little bit of a difficult time seeing as we're starting off with two folks who are going to be resistant to our fire-based attacks. Okay, so not sure if I'm going to hold on to the tapping gloves or not. Yeah, this is a very, very different Arcana to work with. I get the idea of what it's supposed to be doing, but it's one of those things where what it does is very unique, even in amongst other Dash Arcana. So right off the bat, I can already tell you it's got a very surprising range. Like, it's hitting enemies from further away than it seems like it should be possible for it to hit from when you just see its animation. Now, I want to test it out on these guys, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't work on them. It does damage, but it doesn't pull them. You know what? That's fine by me. Okay, so one problem I'm definitely having is that this is not exactly the strong... This is not a strong build against a wall of ranged things. Like, even spearmen kind of kick my butt a little bit, but I was also very much noticing that I was having a hard time against a wave of summoners too. So, in order to alleviate those problems, what I think I need is something that strikes from range, because I've already noticed that the effect of the Entangling Vines gets canceled out by having an orbital going, so I don't necessarily want to run the Earthen Aegis, because that's going to cancel out the effect of the vines. So what I think I need is some form of control, because right now everything I have is just a heavy hitter. Again, not that that's necessarily a bad thing. We will grab that to kind of help slow things down a little bit for our enemies. Alright, so I am also noticing that it is pretty good as a way of starting off combos against bosses. Ow. Now, I will say, that combo is working out pretty nicely. So then if we... Yep. Okay, so it's working out nicely, but it's also difficult to get it to work against enemies that like to spend all of their time as far away from you as possible. Hence why I could use something that can handle things from range. Now, we may have a good chance at getting something like that, because I just noticed Nocturne. So here's something fun that I've been dealing with, y'all. I just had a recent medication change, thanks to my stupid mental health problems. You know, I complain about it all the time, but, you know, until they invent the magic wand that they can wave and, you know, make your brain normal again, I'm gonna complain about it. So one of the side effects of it is that it apparently makes you sleepy. So the idea is to take it at night so that side effect works to my benefit. Here's the problem. That side effect seems to work a little too well, as I've been nothing but lightheaded and sleepy like the entire day. Like we were trying to do one of our D&D sessions today, and I was having a real hard time focusing. And even now, like hours later, hey, look at that. I'm still feeling the effects of it. Like, I just woke up shortly before I started recording this video. That's just how... See, I'm still sleepy. That's not even fucking right. Alright, so the enhanced version of Entangling Vines, just to change the topic for a moment, is going to pull and root enemies. So it's going to pull them, poison them, and keep them rooted in place. Now, obviously, I can't count on the rooting effect against bosses, per se, but... Alright, and no, I'm not going to be able to take advantage of Nocturne. But you know what? That's okay. I spent a little bit too much on relics, but to be fair, they were all very useful relics. Alright, so unlike with Spike Track, you can't just use it to tackle people. You have to hit them with the vines as they trail behind your character. There we go. God, I'm really torn. I want to stick with Flame Strike because it's got a nice wide range. You know what? No, I am just gonna stick with Flame Strike. Because I think the way that Flame Strike factors into the Entangling Vines is going to keep it relevant and strong. What do we have here? Alright, so there's a couple of possibilities there. I do not want to cut down on my critical hit chances, so it's going to be a matter of waiting to see. Sorry, it's going to be a matter of waiting to see what other relics we find. Alright, what do we got here? Oh, we can grab this to go along with the Nerite Shell. And I like the idea of Spice Rack to... Well, both Spice Rack and Ancient Fountain Pen are good, but I think I want to hold off on that because I still want to see if I can... Still want to see if I can get a decent ranged option from Iris. And answer to that is kind of. We have both Dragon Surge and Knockout Boulder, but my issue with Knockout Boulder is that it can only hit a singular target at this moment in time. And my issue with Dragon Surge is that I need something that's a more immediate ranged option. Dragon Surge is a much slower kind of control option. I will say that as of right now, I'm kind of getting a kick out of how Entangling Vines works. Like, it's a real fun option to build combos around. But it also leaves you a little open while you're waiting for it to recharge. So I'm thinking Spice Rack just to make sure that we have better cooldowns. And yeah, I'm only working with 2 elements right now, but I still think that's good. I think I am going to grab this because I would like to get it upgraded so that it has a greater area of effect. And as for my thought process on why I wanted to go with the Shift Robe, I picked that because I figured the evade chance will come in helpful when there's situations where you've pulled in a bunch of enemies around you, and you wouldn't, and it'll just make it so that hopefully you evade some of that incoming damage. I suppose this is the point in the video where I stop and ask you guys, hey, how are you feeling about this combo? As far as I'm concerned, it's a lot of fun, but it is also a little difficult to continually manage the cooldowns. That makes sense. Now, we saw Nocturne earlier, so he's not going to show up a second time. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did just kind of make the executive decision to not grab a cursed relic from Nox on the previous floor. That wasn't an accident. I just decided, you know, I don't think any of these are necessarily going to be very helpful, so yeah, bin it. Got anything good for me? Yeah, one thing for sure, and it's cheap. You'll have to forgive me because of my medication change. I'm still feeling pretty drained. I shouldn't be. I've basically been doing nothing but sleeping all day. Yeah, it's worth it. Okay, well now that I've picked that up, now I feel inclined to finish out the rest of the map. But that having been said, it's only going to boost my overall damage by about 12% in the long run, so it is very much one of those things where if I find something that will do better, I'll replace it. Although I might end up replacing the Amulet of Sundering first. At any rate, you get the idea. So moving on. It was not smart. Nice. No grabby hands, thank you. Alright, so after reading the description on Spice Rack, it seems like if I want to get the most out of it, what I need to do is use Entangling Vines and then sweep it, and then instead of using Terror Ring, use Blazing Lariat instead in order to get the cooldown effect. Which still works out because it still hits all around me. I just have to, instead of just sitting there and doing it, I just have to turn around and use it. Or just use it and then follow up immediately. You know, with death. Just follow up with death. That having been said, I do think Terror Ring has... Not Terror Ring. I'm sorry, I'm apparently still super tired, and that's upsetting to me. But Entangling Vines has a lot of potential, and I think it would be better to actually start with something that reduces cooldowns, because one of the biggest weaknesses I'm seeing with Entangling Vines is how long its cooldown is. Like, it's bad enough that it only gets one charge, which, again, there's not much... This time around, I can understand why, because it has too much of an effect on the mooks around you for it to possibly be balanced with 2 charges. So I get why it only has 1 charge, but then to also give it a particularly long cooldown for a Dash Arcana, it's a little irksome, so it's definitely a good thing to start. Like, I thought Shift would be the better way to start just because of the evade chance, but you might be better off starting with something that lowers cooldowns, actually. So this might actually be a good call for the tempo robe. Use it on a high tempo build with things like explosive charge and whatnot. Just drag the enemies closer to you and then start dashing through them with explosive charge. That sounds like the way to go, and I might try that on a future build. Let me know what you guys think. I'm clearly not doing super well, as I made that really stupid mistake, but this game plan is also difficult to get to work with the retro floor plan, and I just made a mistake. So, oops. But that's going to be it for today. So, thank you guys very much. I appreciate your continuing to watch and support my work. Um, the usual YouTube stuff is 5 steps long now. So, just real quick, like the video, drop a comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and share the video. It seems like an awful lot to do to show someone that you like them, but even just doing one of those things helps out a lot. At any rate, I appreciate you guys coming to spend some of your free time with me. And I wish you a wonderful day or night wherever you may happen to be, and I will see you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker. Take care, everyone.